Welcome to What's the Effort?
What the effort?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is a special podcast because, as you can see with the flags all around me, it's July 3rd. So I want to start off by saying tomorrow's July 4th. Enjoy, celebrate our country. I'm wearing my special t-shirts that is now 23 years old because I got this t-shirt when I became an American citizen on July 4th in the year 2000. And I was given my little flag. This flag means a lot to me. I have other flags. They're great. But this t-shirt and this flag means something to me because now I am an American citizen. So before then, I was what we call a green card holder, an immigrant, an illegal worker, all sorts of bad things. So I'm so happy that they straightened me out and I'm on the straight and narrow and I'm now not dual citizen, 3 citizenships. So happy July 4th for tomorrow for sure. Another reason that our podcast is super special today is because I have Jake Villaret, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Villaret.
Okay. Say it again.
Villaret.
Oh, you do pronounce a T. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Jake. Jake is one of the main people. He's actually the person who inspires us and who trains us on Gator. So that is a pretty heavy responsibility. And I am delighted to have him. At this point, before Pace actually got Gator going, he was calling it Gator Lending, and I guess that would be 0. And that was where I first met Pace. And then we went through Gator 1, Gator 2. Are we at Gator 50 now? What are we at?
I lost track. I don't know.
But we're at a very important level because they've allowed for the people who are already in Gator to be grandfathered into what's called Gator Elite. And if you guys are a Gator and you haven't done what you need to do to become a Gator Elite, what the fuck are you waiting for? All right. It's huge. And Jake is leading us through that. And I have to say, I'm super impressed with what he is doing. He's doing great stuff. So thank you, Jake. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. There's a lot of hard work that went into that, though, that I didn't have too much to do with.
I know.
Kelly and Carly put so much time and effort into that. It came out great.
Yeah. You're not a programmer per se, or maybe you are.
No. I'm terrible with technology in general.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, and I give a shout out to them too. Kelly and Carly, is that who you said?
Yeah, Kelly Handel and Carly Grunman. Yeah, they're
awesome.
the brains behind it. Yeah, it came out so good. It's a game changer compared to just having the Facebook group for sure.
For sure. And before, when we had Discord, the only thing that was really good about it was the name Discord. I mean, it is true Discord. Anyhow, Discord coordination. Anyways, don't get me started. But can you tell us when you joined a Sub 2? And you're both in Sub 2 and Gator, and we should know he's in Sub 2 because he's got the hat. When did you join?
I joined Gator and Sub 2 on the same day. I think it was December 22nd of last year.
Wow.
So still somewhat recent.
Yes, it is. And for someone to skyrocket that quickly to where you are is really, really impressive. Tell us a little bit about Jake, the person. Where did you grow up?
Yeah.
What were you like as a kiddo? Were you a good kiddo, bad kiddo? I don't know.
I was an okay kid. So I was born in Staten Island, New York. Lived there until I was 23. I would say it was an okay kid. I was a little bit of a troublemaker probably until about junior high school. At least in school anyway. I was like the class clown type, right? My parents separated when I was young in the first grade, so probably a lot of it came from that. But then by the time I got into junior high school, I had sports in my life that really, kept me on a path. I was a wrestler, um,
Wait, you were a wrestler?
not like WWE, but like Olympic style, I guess is the best way to put it. I wrestled in college and in high school. Uh,
Okay.
at one point, I think at one point I held the New York City record for the most wins in high school. That
Wow.
was actually destroyed by my brother. Um,
That's funny. You must have been grateful to him for that.
Yeah, well, there was a point I could beat. I used to beat him up all the time, and it got to the point where he could beat me up. He got bigger than me, and I stopped wrestling with him at that point. But I went to college and it saved my butt. So he was a freshman when I was a senior.
Wow.
So yeah, there you go. I'm down there on the bottom right.
Is that you?
Back when I was a skinny, yeah, the black sweatshirt down there on the
Oh,
front.
here. Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Was your brother on the team at that point?
Let's see, 2006. I think he was still in 8th grade at that point. But that Mayor's Cup, it was cool. We became the first set of brothers to ever win the Mayor's Cup in the same year, which was really cool. We got to go on a lot of wrestling trips together. We were both on the national team. Traveling the country, wrestling as part of the Team USA and stuff like that. So it was a cool experience to get to do a lot of that with him. But he turned out way better.
Cool that he became a champion because of the whoopings you gave him.
That's what I like to say. Yeah.
That's
but we just we put a lot of time and effort into that. So like, not to sound like I'm never the type to make myself sound better or anything than I am, but I've always been the kind of person that once I find something that I enjoy, I put everything I have into it. And my brother is the same way. And I think that's part of the reason I had so much success in wrestling and sports in general. Once I decide I'm going to do something, I'm doing it 1,000%. There is no, like, I will surpass people who have been doing it for a lot longer than me because I'm so serious about it. And I'm so passionate about it. And so, that started.
It explains how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. It started from a young age. And I think so, not to get like too personal or anything, but my dad was an addict, right? And so I definitely have some of those addictive personality traits, but I just chose to put them into productive things.
Good for you.
And it's been helpful throughout my life to get to where I'm at now.
Good for you. Good for you. I do have to say knowing you were a class clown kind of surprises me a little bit, but I love this picture. That's hysterical. I'd definitely be clowning around there.
Yeah, that's when I was on deployment out in the Middle East. I think that was in Abu Dhabi, I want to say. I was deployed out to the Persian Gulf, when I was in the Navy. And Abu Dhabi is one of the ports that we hit. So that's where that one's from.
I had a lot of students who had come from Abu Dhabi. Lots of money there. Yeah.
Lots of money. It's so weird. It's just barren desert. And then kind of like Dubai, you just have this massive populated, rich town in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yep. So speaking of the Navy, how old were you when you joined?
I was 23.
So from high school, where did you go? You're really cute. You're cute to begin
with. Thank you.
But this picture's very nice. I like it.
Thank you.
Especially for July 4th. Yay!
I was an absolute mess from the time I graduated high school until the time I joined the Navy. So like the same way that I put 1,000% into something that I love, I have a hard time putting even 10% into something that I don't care about. And so I went, the college route, and I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be. So I was changing majors like every semester, really just screwing around. I think I ended up doing like 6 years worth of college. I got to within like 2 classes of graduating and was like, I just can't do this anymore. And I ended up joining the Navy. In between that time, on a whim, like literally, I decided I was going to move to Florida by myself, just take all the money I had, move down there. Didn't know where I was going to live, didn't have a car. I just moved down there, rented an apartment in West Palm Beach, found a car in Craigslist, bought it, found a job, and just started living down there. Got tired of it after about 2 years and was like, okay, I need to learn some kind of skill or something that I could start making some money. So
what were you doing during those 2 years?
I was like a waiter, working a little bit of bartending here and there, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it got old fast, like I was getting older than everybody, and people are working at the same restaurant as me in between their classes and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to do something, because I don't want to be the guy who bartends forever. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I've always had bigger goals for myself. So I moved back to New York. I joined the Navy, left for the Navy in November of 2012. Learned a skill. I was working on electronics for the weapon systems on the ships. So like, if you ever seen the movies, those scenes where there's all the screens on the window and the captain's in there yelling at people. Mm-hmm. It was my job to maintain all of that stuff and make sure it was working properly.
Oh, and that's interesting.
Yeah, it was cool. I wasn't passionate about it, but I knew that it was something that could get me to the next level. So I was fortunate enough to get out of the Navy. I was actually separated from the Navy a year early because of a back injury.
Oh, so did the Navy help you to kind of get disciplined and more focused? Because it's kind of known for any of the, Army, Navy, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I would say the Navy,
but I don't know.
The Navy gave me that little bit of discipline I needed to put effort into the things that I don't care about, right? At least to a level where it's going to pay off, right? So walked out of the Navy, got lucky enough to walk into a really good job here in the Raleigh area of North Carolina as a control room operator for a pharmaceutical plant. It was paying really well.
Wait, you're a controller and operator for a pharmaceutical plant?
Was not anymore. This is my
Tom Pierce. Are you on here? Wait, where's Tom Pierce? He's often here, but okay. Tom Pierce is in the Gator also, and he's an operator manager of Long Island's one of their power plants.
Oh, awesome!
So I got a chance to get to know what that means.
Yeah. No, it's a great job. It paid really well, but at the same time, I was working 12-hour shifts, and I was working 2 weekends a month, and I was rotating between day shift and night shift every 4 weeks. And so obviously it wasn't something I wanted to do forever. And my wife, having gotten married in the Navy when my schedule was terrible, and then even though this job was paying well, my schedule was awful. So I was always looking for the next thing that can get me out of that. And so I was actually watching Cody Sanchez videos on YouTube, figuring I'd buy businesses and just be a business owner because I'd rather work for myself. And there's this guy, Pace Morby, in the recommended section of every video. And I'm like, all right, let me take a look at this. I became an accidental landlord while I was in the Navy. I bought a house, and then they transferred me to San Diego like a month later. And so I was yeah.
Now you know what sub-2 students would do, right? They go, okay, let's help you. And you kept it?
I did. I kept it as a rental. Luckily enough, the interest rate was low enough and everything. It was actually making me about $400 a month, even with a property management company. So got lucky there. That was my first experience, I guess you could say, with real estate investing, even though it was by accident. But anyway, it gave me a taste of what, real estate could be. And so I started watching Pace's videos, and I think it probably took me about a week or so of watching as many videos as I possibly could before I decided to join. So I did both at the same time. Because like I said, everything I do, I'm going to do it 1,000%. So I couldn't choose between Gator or Sub 2. I had to go both.
when you were with Cody Chances, when you were watching and then saw Pace, what date was, like, when was that? How long did it take you before you, and did you join that mentorship, or was this your first mentorship?
This was my first mentorship. I think it was probably around December 15th or so, somewhere in that mid-December range, about a week before I decided to join.
And were you still working at that time?
I was, yeah. I was on night shift, and I would watch Pace's videos for like 10 out of the 12 hours I was there for that whole, because I used to work
lots of time that you can do that sort of thing.
Right. I would work 7 nights in a row. So I watched a week's worth of Pace's videos, like 70 hours worth of Pace's videos in a week. And I decided to join. Yeah. I'm super grateful that this is the first mentorship that I found, because having been doing this for a while, I know there's a lot of people who have spent so much money on 2, 3, 4 other mentorships before finding this one. And so I'm just so grateful that I didn't have to go down that path.
Yeah, you are lucky. I had only had one. I joined Anderson Advising, and they're more expensive than New Reach, but I got to meet Pace there because they had him on in one of the episodes, and that's how I found him. So I can't complain too much, but I do know what you mean, because when you meet people and they start rattling them all off, and I'm adding up and I'm thinking 70, 100, 130, what the hell, so it can get very expensive, and there's no one, of course, like Pace.
Nobody.
That makes it for life. There's always 6 months or a year.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. So yeah, you were very fortunate on that.
For sure. And I started.
Did you dive into both right away, or did you start with Gator? And talk about that decision.
Yeah. In the beginning, and this was the wrong way to go about it, I would watch a Gator video, then I'd watch a Sub 2 video, then I'd watch a Gator video, then I'd watch a Sub 2 video. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So I decided I was going to go with the Sub 2 stuff first. It just so happened that I fell into the Gator sort of business model accidentally. I think it was probably a week after joining Sub 2, I saw a post from Jabs Carter. I'm sure you know who that is, right?
Yes, of course. Yep.
Jabs had made a post in Sub 2 about, if you have a good credit score, reach out to me. Let's see how we can work together. And, have really, really good credit. So I sent Jabs a message and helped him refinance one of his rental properties. And after I did that, I was like,
using your credit?
Using my credit. Yeah. We partnered, we used my credit and did the refinance. And I was like, why don't I just keep doing this over and over? Like, this is a business in itself. I didn't know what it would look like or the steps that I had to take, but I just started sponsoring. I just started diving in, telling people, hey, I could sponsor your loan. I could sponsor your loan. I started doing it.
So that's what you mean by sponsoring a loan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's transformed so much now from where I started just doing it that way. A lot of the early sponsorships that I did were so wrong. Like, just I wasn't taking the proper steps, but I didn't know what the steps were. But I knew that if I continued at it, I would figure out what they were.
So what did you charge? How did you work out, that it was possibly a business?
I do equity partnerships on the loans that I sponsor.
Okay. So then you're making it legit.
Yeah. I would say 90% of the sponsorships I do are for an equity partnership. So I'm on title, I'm on the deed and all that stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. How much equity can you get when you do that?
50-50 is becoming pretty standard. In the beginning, I was doing it for less than that, but I feel like with the knowledge, and I hate to use the word expertise because there's always more that could be learned, but I feel like I'm pretty good at it, and I know the ins and outs and all that stuff. There's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize. And obviously there's a lot of risk when you're putting your name on a loan. And so we're trying to get as close to 50-50 on all of our deals now, my team and I.
You say we. Oh, so you're using the team credit? Like, explain that. And talk about the team, because I've met the team and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But tell our audience, especially if they're not in sub 2 about the team. And what do you mean we? Like, are you
Yeah,
doing it with the group?
for sure. So, I mean, early on, I found a lot of success early doing it, and it quickly became overwhelming to try to handle every step of the process myself, especially with many deals going on at the same time. So I formed a team called the Creative Credit Partners. As of like 3 days ago, we're all officially in sub 2 also, and Gator, so that's cool. My team consists of Morgan Winters, Sonia King, Angela Chamberlain, Candace Farrell, and Jacqueline Brown. And they are all incredible people and incredible at what they do. Um, we Jacqueline is a professional underwriter, like that is what she does. But it's not all she does, right? Like everyone on my team can do everything. We have Angela and Candace are amazing with the behind the scenes stuff that I'm terrible at, the systems, the integrations, the websites, the admin stuff.
That's
You know,
Candace?
Candace and Angela, yeah.
Oh, so they're like together, they're the integrators.
Yeah, and they're amazing. They keep everything running smoothly. I was on that road trip with Kevin a few weeks ago, and I was gone for about a week, and they did not have to call me or text me or anything, not one time.
Wow.
They just had it handled. It was awesome. That's such a good feeling too, knowing that the people you're working with, you could count on them. That's an important part of this whole process that I learned, is that you can't do everything yourself, and you don't have to do everything yourself.
Right, right. I agree. I agree. I'm looking at the JV model, but you've got a team, and I guess you guys do the does your team all get together and do like all the deals, or do you go off with other JV partners, or how does it work?
A lot of our deals now come from, at this point we've got a pretty decent reputation, I'd say, within the community. So a lot of people know that's what we do. And so I'll get a lot of deals submitted through my website, creativecreditpartner.com. A lot of the loan officers that we work with actually will refer people to us who have a good deal but can't get approved for the loan. Word of mouth type stuff, repeat partners, that sort of thing.
So then does your whole team become a partner with the other party?
Yep, we're all equal partners in our business. That's the way I set it up. I didn't want it to feel like I was the head of a team and I had people that worked for me. I really wanted it to feel like a team, and so I just made us all equals. And I'm happy I did that, because we all definitely are doing an equal amount of work, and it's a lot of work. And so
Yeah.
we're probably even at the point where we're talking about, well, who are we going to hire next? What do we need the most help with? That kind of thing. It's just very, very time consuming. And that was when I was only doing the loan sponsorship stuff. And now, I'm teaching the Gators, and I'm buying creative deals, and I'm closing creative deals myself, and I'm helping people close their creative deals. And so the time is just super limited.
Totally. And with the creative deals and closing them yourself, are you still working as a team member, or are you working, or is that something that you're doing on your own? Because a lot of times, when I talk with teams, they will often say team first, and if you've got extra time or you do something outside that's cool, that's yours. So do you guys do that, or do you stay as a team?
We do have deals that we buy together as a team. We just bought one in Houston last week that we're turning into a pad split. We bought that as a team, but we all also have our own individual stuff going on. So there's no hard feelings or anything there. We all understand, like, hey, we have
enough room in there for both.
Oh yeah, we all have our own separate ventures that we're doing also. Morgan and Sonia have been partners on other stuff way before this team thing ever came along. So they have quite the portfolio, some really cool investments in there. Jacqueline's been doing this for a long time. So yeah, we all have our own separate things going on, but all of the loan sponsorship stuff especially is what we focus on, the team stuff.
Got it. That's interesting. Very interesting. And how'd you find the team?
Two of them I met at an in-person meetup locally here in Raleigh. Morgan actually was a private money lender for one of my personal deals, and she loved the idea of what I was doing. And I said, hey, why don't you just join me? I need more people who are willing to loan their credit, and I need more people who are good at raising capital. And she's amazing at everything she does. So she came on, and her and Sonia were kind of a package deal. And then Jacqueline I met in Discord when that was still around through the
Sorry. Yeah. Well, that's good. I've met some good people in Discord too. It's just that most people don't like it, and it's it was craziness.
Yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of Discord. I like, especially now with the new Elite platform, I think it's going to be a game changer.
Absolutely.
It's like a mini Facebook, but even better. I think it's easier to keep track of things.
Oh yeah, because it has all the different areas that you can go into.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. It even has like the leaders section. So, you guys can do that sort of thing all by yourselves without needing to be, yeah, I love it. I think it's very, really good. So Josh says, would you say joining Sub2 amplified your business? And in what ways were most useful?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, there was no business before Sub2, right? Like I just hopped right in. I started, like I said, 1,000%, 100 miles per hour. What can I learn? And then immediately start putting into action. Like I'm not one of those people who I need to learn everything before I start going to do it. Like I need to know one thing, just enough to get me in trouble, and I'll figure out the rest later. But that's what's great about Sub2 is that it's really such a tight-knit community that if you don't have the answers for something, or if you make a mistake or you make a mess, there's always somebody there who's more than willing to clean that mess up for you, at least tell you how to clean the mess up.
Right.
So
right.
Definitely amplified my business and my knowledge and shortened that learning curve by I don't even know how much. I would say that there's a lot of things that I got really good at. There's nothing I'm great at, but I've learned from watching the greats. Like I never considered myself a closer, but now I've been closing left and right. And that's from watching and talking to amazing closers like the Jabs of the world, Cameron Johnson in Wilmington, North Carolina, Travis Banks.
Yeah, Travis is pretty
amazing. Good friend of mine, amazing closer, amazing person. Eddie Charger, a good friend of mine now. I've been very lucky to connect with him, and more on a personal level even than just a business level. Yeah. So those people have just I'm where I'm at. I thought it would take me years to get to where I am right now, but it's because of the people that I've surrounded myself with.
Right. And how many doors, like, I don't know how to phrase this, because usually when you say how many doors do you have, you're talking to an individual, but you have like 1/6 of a door, right? I mean, I don't know. How do you look at that? If somebody said to you, how many doors do you have? How do you answer that? What is the answer?
That's a good question. I would say 15 properties. I think some of them are multiple doors. We have some big multifamily stuff that we're in the process of right now. A 60 unit, a 7 unit, 21, 72. So the doors.
You are burning the rubber.
Yeah. Like, do I care if I only have, 16.5% of a $5 million property? No, not at all. In fact, having the team allows me to do stuff like that, right? We could combine forces and stuff like that as a reality, and we can do multiples. And so the door count doesn't bother me. Having the split.
It's not that it bothers. It's like, how do you assess it?
Yeah. I just count each property as a property, right? I have ownership in it. I own other properties outside of the team stuff. Like I said, I don't know how many of those there are, but there are. There's a lot of partnerships that I'm in that are 50-50, just me and one other person. So how many doors do I have?
Enough.
I don't know. Yeah.
You always want more.
Right. Yeah. And this is one of the things I need to get better at is keeping track of all my stuff. So I need to hire someone and figure out exactly how much I own. And
right.
But
because you also have the income to think on. I mean, if you're looking at 60 units, I mean, here you were talking about a cash flowing property that was giving you, what was it, 4, 5, 600 in there
Yeah.
beginning, and now you're talking 60 units. They're going to be able to give you more. What do you, how, like, obviously you need to replace your income so that you can give 100% to this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys split that up? Just like 1/6?
Yeah, we split everything evenly. Everything is divided evenly. We're all equal partners. But then we're also doing stuff on the side. I'm lending on Gator deals. I'm getting connector fees left and right because I've made it a lot of friends and I know who has what. So when people come to me and need help with something, I know who to go to for them, right?
Right.
Connector fees are great. EMD, all that stuff. Gap funding. Even though it's not something I like to do too much of, it's something I've done from time to time. There's the cash flow, teaching the Gator Elite stuff. So yeah, I've made sure to replace the income. I definitely quit a little bit prematurely my W-2. It's been like 2 months at this point, but those worries are long gone at this point.
That's awesome. It's nice when you might think, "Oh, I quit too early," and then all of a sudden you're like, "Damn, I need tax deductions."
Yeah, and now I'm trying to buy everything I can. I locked up 2 properties under contract on Friday. I have 3 more that I think by the end of this week will be under contract. I have the
Wow.
ones I already own. Eddie Charger and I have a goal to own 50 by the end of the year, pad splits. So
Well, I'm going to have a talk with you and Eddie because Eddie is a good friend of mine. And if he's on here, I'd like to say, "What the effing are you doing leaving me out?"
Eddie is such a great guy.
I know. He's
What I
awesome.
love about Eddie is that I don't just call him to talk business. Like I called him, we spoke the other night for an hour, and I would say the first 3/4 of that was just like, bro, help me get my mind right because my time is spread so thin and it's just who I am where like I want to help everybody who comes to me asking for help, right? And so that means in between giving my kids a bath, I'm over here trying to answer messages and texts
Yeah.
and so I need to probably be more mindful of my own time and
I
give
know.
my
I know, and that was interesting when you were saying on the Elite that you've gone to IG, because I've also been having a little struggle on that. Maybe not, well, maybe even bigger, I don't know. But I haven't made as much use of it because you've really run with it, and that's awesome. And I was thinking, I hate having to check all these different places. There's
Mhm.
just too many. And you've done what Pace does. I don't know why I didn't realize. Wait, that's what Pace does. He just sticks with IG.
Mhm.
And you can connect with him on Facebook, and of course, email is important for formal stuff. But otherwise, it's IG for him. So you just stick with IG at this time.
Mostly, I mean, that's where I direct people to now. Just so it's still crazy, but at least it's crazy in one place, and it's helped a little bit. But it is what it is. I'm still getting the text messages and the Facebook DMs, but it's part of the territory. Like I understand, and I get to people as quickly as I can.
Yeah. Yep. I know. I understand.
I feel guilty when I don't get to somebody quick
Me
enough.
too. Me too. And um, I don't know if they're on here or not. And somebody DM'd me on Facebook and said, "I gave you 12 days. When will we be connecting?" And
Well,
I
guess
thought,
what? We forgot after day 2.
you know, seriously, but it's okay. I mean, I get it. She was patient, is what she was trying to say, and she was patient. But it was so funny. She gave me 12 days, and I'm like, I was like, it's so funny.
Yeah,
The way that we have to be a little careful how we come across, but yeah, it weighs heavily.
it
Before
does.
we get any further, I have to get this question answered that Corey has asked. He says, "Jake, how do you keep your credit score high while sponsoring all these deals? Is it your personal credit or your business credit that you're talking about?"
You can do it with either sponsoring. So we're only sponsoring DSCR or hard money loans, and so those loans aren't showing up on your credit report, and they're not being reported to the credit bureaus. The only thing that does show up on the credit report is that initial inquiry, that initial hard pull. But I work with the same 3 or so lenders on every single deal. So they only have to pull my credit 4 times a year. So it's extremely minimal.
Okay. All right. And Joel has a question. Hi, Joel. I understand that you might have finally, oh, no, you're with Keston. I thought maybe you joined sub 2. He says, how do you guys handle your days and time to between health, fitness, kids, etc.? Do you all meal plan? Jake, looking swell.
Yeah, no one's swole. I was 24, so thank you, Joel. I must just be the angle or the shirt or something. But no, honestly, that's my biggest struggle is trying to divide my time. Part of it is that my wife is incredibly supportive. She understands. Yeah, that doesn't mean that she doesn't get annoyed with me sometimes because I'm constantly on my phone and talking to people, but she understands that it comes with the territory. But it's a struggle. That's my biggest struggle. I haven't figured it out yet. I tried the Calendly thing, but I was having to cancel on people all the time because, time sensitive stuff pops up from deals that you're in that just have to come first. And so it's an ongoing struggle to figure out how to juggle everything for sure. I think I might get to the point where I just have to come to the realization that I'm not going to be able to get to everybody. And I'm going to disappoint some people and people will get mad at me. And
I hope they don't get mad because I don't think they have the right to get mad. It's not okay when they do that. I think, I don't know, a month or 2 after I started, I was still in Vancouver. I hadn't opened my banks, hadn't done the, because I couldn't. COVID was happening. And somehow, Pace put my name on the public YouTube, and people started calling me. And I have to tell you, I was really surprised at some, because I had like a couple of people that were extremely rude, who would just say, well, I heard you've got money and that you can help me out. I need to get into sub 2. Can you help me or not? And I'm like, who is this? Did she buy nothing, right? And they would say their name, and I'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm not sure where you're getting this from, and I was just sort of like trying to take control of it. And they were like, she was like very rude. She was like, you are wasting my time. Are you going to sponsor me or not? And I was like, holy shit. Now I know what she's talking about. I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not me, her. She hung up on me.
Right. Luckily, I would say 80% of the people are
not that way.
Normal, kind people. Yeah. But there are those people who, if you don't answer in 10 minutes, they start sending you the question marks or, whatever. So it is what it is. I will say though that I always put my best effort into answering everybody.
Oh yeah, but when Pace has blown you up without telling you, because all of a sudden your phone goes off and everything's happening, and you're like, what's going on? Oh, I get it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, that happened to me a few weeks ago. Pace said something on family night about how I had brought him a deal in Fayetteville. And I just started getting text messages about, oh, I buy in Fayetteville, put me on your buyers list. I'm like, what the heck? So that's what it was. But yeah.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about the next stage of your development, because right now you have you've got your hands full with the Gator thing for sure, and everything else that you're doing. And they have great potential, all of them. But how are you going to figure out your next step?
Yeah, I have such big goals. I need to figure out how I'm going to divide my time. But, obviously on the Gator Elite side, I'm having so much fun with that. I feel like I'm helping a lot of people. I'm actually, making a real difference. And so I want to see that through until someone tells me I can't anymore. On the business side with the team, we're talking to attorneys, figuring out the steps we need to take to scale, whether that's syndication or funds or, what do we need to do legally, even if it's not anything like that, but we're going to get to the point where we're going to maybe own hundreds of properties. How do we structure all of that? most efficient way. Then on the personal side, I have different business partners here and there, and me and Eddie want to own 50 pad splits. I want to own as many properties as I possibly can. I want to teach my kids this stuff as they start to get a little bit older. There's just so much that I want to do. I just need to figure out how to do it the smart way, I guess. I don't know.
How many children do you have?
My son will be 7 on July 15th, and my daughter will be 1 on July 14th.
What?
Yeah.
My daughter's birthday's on July 14th.
Oh, really? Awesome.
July 14th and July 15th. That's so cool.
Yeah, 6 years and a day apart. And so my daughter was actually my son's birthday present last year. We brought her home on his birthday, so that was cool.
That is cool.
And then my anniversary is on the 20th. So July is a crazy month.
That's great. That's great. Really great. And it's going to be interesting to see how you grow further and how you start to manage it. I suspect you'll probably need to get yourself an assistant before long. Somebody
I'm seriously considering hiring someone to follow me around 24/7 and take notes. It's gotten to that point. We also I have the watermelon challenge going on with
what's that?
Chris James and Jesse Stanton's team.
Oh, I love Jesse Stanton and Chris James. Okay, what's the watermelon? I love watermelon. What's watermelon? It's challenge.
Well, that analogy, how it's better to share watermelon than eat 100% of a grape, right? And so we started this challenge where Chris and Jesse, they have a business where they do the DSCR and hard money loans.
Yes, they do.
And then, obviously, my team is loan sponsors. And so we've actually been helping people outside of the creative community, like wholesalers and such, who want to buy and hold properties, but didn't know that it was possible. They're sort of learning, hey, it's possible even without money or credit. They're utilizing my team, Chris's team, Stuart and his team, Helaman and Daniela. They're doing some of the Gator stuff for the challenge. And so it's going pretty well. I think there's been a few people who have gotten their first deal now that they've ever done since the Watermelon Challenge started. It's still in its infancy stages. I think we're like a month or so into it.
Where are you sponsoring it? Where is it? Where do we find it?
Oh, there's a Facebook group called the Watermelon Challenge. Okay. And we're doing weekly Zooms, both educational and just going over deals. I think there's been 5. I think we have 5 or so that have been accepted so far. We have the calendar, the underwriting calendar. If it turns green, just like in the Elephant Challenge sort of thing, that means, you have a good deal and we'll move forward with it and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. And it's cool because it's a whole new network outside of just the creative finance, the sub 2.
Yeah.
It's a whole group of people.
Yes. I'm experiencing some of that with What the Effie, which is good. I wasn't expecting it, but it is coming, and it's good. It's good for sure. So I'm curious to know what has been the most exciting opportunity that you have dealt with so far, like deals. Which one was like, oh my God, you were super stoked about?
Oh man. From the team side, I would say once we started branching out from just the single family stuff and getting into the multifamily stuff, the 7-unit townhome that we're building in Nashville came a little bit before that road trip. And so when we were on the road trip, Nashville is one of the cities that I stopped in, and I actually got to meet Daniel Wynn, who's the person we're partnering with on that deal. So that was cool. The 60-unit hotel that's being turned into a multifamily, that when we did, ended up in that deal, I was like, I can't believe that we're doing something like this. Like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But just like all the different people that we're getting to work with now that I wouldn't have had the chance to if I was still just trying to do everything on my own.
Yeah. You wouldn't be where you are.
Oh, no.
You are. And, I'm trying to get off my duff in that regard. I have a number of people that I'm looking to JV with, Julie Voss, and all Julies, anybody named Julie, for sure. And many others. I'm already working with Steve. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Eddie was on that list, so I don't know what the hell he's doing leaving me in the dust. But anyhow, I'm just kidding. I think that is the way to go because you're just one person. And unfortunately, you have a spouse that, so you're kind of like at least 1.5. She's encouraging you, but I'm
Right.
like one. And my kids are like, Mom, is this a cult? Like, yes, it is. They're like, Mom, can you
That's what
send
everyone
me?
thinks at first, right? And then people are skeptical. Like even my whole family. And then they start seeing the deals happening, and they're seeing the proof of concept, and it's like, oh, okay, this wasn't just like a pipe dream. You actually are taking massive steps towards hitting your goals, and
Yeah,
now everyone's on board and sort of coming to me, asking for advice all the time on real estate, and it's been
nice,
awesome. Yeah.
nice, nice. Yep, that's a very, very good thing. So now I want to ask, what has been the weirdest or craziest, whack thing that you have seen on one of your deals?
I feel like I've been lucky in the sense that there hasn't been anything too crazy, honestly. All of the loan partnerships that we're in have gone well.
Oh,
Uh,
nice. You
would
you didn't even have one that tried to run with your money or, use it on another property or, you
Not
know,
yet, not yet.
I like the yet, not yet.
I'm sure it will happen eventually, but by this point, we at least have the, I guess, connections in place on the legal side and stuff that we've made now. So if that does happen, it'll probably just be a blip on the radar kind of thing. But
Yeah, yeah. When you've got this much going, I think you're right. However, when you're just starting out, and that's a lot of the time when it happens when people are green and they don't know any better, um, it's devastating. It's
yeah,
devastating, and it hasn't happened to me. But I almost got ripped off one time for 100K. Graham, don't listen. Anyhow, so the point is that it happens to a lot of people.
yeah. That's
So
what I was telling the new people. Just bring your deals to someone with more experience who could help you. Like my whole philosophy behind everything, and another reason why I was able to do is what I've done as quickly as I have is I just like making friends with people, and the more friends you have, the easier of a time you'll have scaling quickly, or even just getting to the point where you're doing business, because people like to do business with their friends. People like to help their friends.
yep,
And then you'll find your partners that way too. And so if you find you're going out there and you're finding partners who have opposite strengths of yours, you're just going to naturally create this ecosystem of success around you.
yep, yep, for sure. So, what is the advice you would give to somebody who wants to start in real estate? I know I have a few people that I don't know why they watch me, but I don't know why anybody watches me, but that's beside the point. Oh, they watch because of you. But, anyways, the point is, what would you say to somebody who wants to start in real estate and is where you were before you got in?
I would say, first of all, start, right. Don't sit there and consume content and feel like you need to know everything. Figure out where you want to fit in this space. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And then go out there and start making friends and start trying to fill that niche that you're good at. Don't sit on the sidelines and wait. Pace always says mistakes are mandatory. You can't make any mistakes if you're not taking action. And then people who watch me have heard me say this a million times, that it's okay to be afraid, but it's not okay to let that fear stop you from doing something about it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say just start, just do something. It doesn't matter what it is. Just do something. If that to you means building up enough courage to call an agent or a seller or a title company, or even just somebody else in sub two, to become friends, just do it. You just have to get over that hump.
Yeah.
I would say make as many friends as possible. Learn what you're good at, and the things that you aren't good at, just partner on people with, or pay for the help. It's worth every penny. Always be networking. Like, I think that networking is the most important part about probably not even just real estate, but business in general.
Yeah. It's many businesses, but particularly real estate, are relationship based.
Hmm.
So, that's where you have to make good on what you say you're going to do. And you just have to, put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, to be honest, that a number of people who are introverts, come into Sub 2. There was a post the other day in Sub 2, I'm not sure if you saw it, from an introvert who declared herself an introvert. And she said that she was posting because Tanisha told her she had to. And I was thinking, yeah, that's because Tanisha used to be the biggest introvert. You couldn't get her to do, to say boo. I mean, she was very active in the chat. She would
Mhm.
talk, but she didn't like being on camera.
Right.
And she added a lot of value, but she wasn't what she is now. I mean, now she's on stage and multiple stages, and she has found her confidence. She's found her presence. So
Right.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I thought this, young lady was very brave to do that. She got a lot of support in the comments, and that's helpful too. But yeah, it is hard for people who are introverts, and I think there's always an introvert in at least part of us.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would I would 100% consider myself an introvert, but like even to this day, like before I have to get on a Zoom, I'm like, oh man, I'm so nervous. And like when it's over, I feel that relief, right? Or even speaking to somebody on the phone I've never spoken to before, I still get those nerves, but it just it's just part. You just have to do it if you want to really get to that next level. You just have to make yourself do it. Get out of your comfort zone.
You don't seem nervous. You don't seem nervous at all.
I've had some. I've had enough practice at this point where I could. But anyone who's watched me, especially when I first started doing the Zooms, those first couple were rough. I couldn't get the words out of my mouth. Like I would forget what I was trying to say. I was pouring sweat. So it just comes with, and that's my point though, is that it gets easier. Even the stuff that makes you uncomfortable, the more you do it, it becomes like second nature, where it's not such a big deal anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying before we went on. We went on live, about the podcast, right? I definitely took too much. I took a big step in trying to do it by myself. That
Mhm.
was a disaster. I'm not telling you guys which episode it was, okay? Uh, don't go looking for it. And because of it, my heart still goes boom, 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 just before I get started. I'm like, I need to review my notes. And just having the moderator, whether it's Graham or whether it's Josh, I always have a moderator now. And I think I will for a long time, just because it really, really scared me. I
Yeah.
thought it might.
What I like about this, Effie, is, well, first of all, there's just something that I just naturally feel calm talking to you. I love you so much. And also, it's just me and you. I almost feel like we're just having a one-on-one conversation. Whereas when I'm doing my Zooms, I have the screen to the side of me with, 100 faces looking at me also. And so,
That's true. That's
yeah,
true. I've had that experience though with Zooms, and I get it. And I myself cannot really focus on more than a couple of people at once because because you also have the chat.
yeah,
But the chat in Zoom seems more friendly to me because in here, having control of the private chat and the banners and all those things, it's like that. I know. Good old Pace is like, oh, no problem.
so
I'm like, which button can I hit?
the first time I ever talked to Pace, I was so nervous that I had to put my phone down and rest it against something because my hands were shaking. And it's like, it's funny looking back on that because that wasn't so long ago. That was maybe 5 months ago. And now like we're homies, and when I see him, it's like nothing, right? But that first time talking to him and that first time meeting him, I was like so in my shell and just scared to come off a way that I didn't want to. But now it's like, whatever. But
Do you know I had the opposite?
really,
Yeah, the very first time I had met Pace was on the Gator Zeros. He was introducing it, and at the very end, I asked a question which was a yes or no answer. Can I do this from Canada? But it turned out I went back to see what was it. It was 8 minutes. So I was just asking him questions, and he was talking, and I didn't feel the least bit nervous, and I never have. And at the beginning, I kept saying, no, who's going to make me? I don't know why you say that. I'm not doing it. You know, I was like always talking back to him. It's kind of funny. But when I met him for the first time, oh my God, I couldn't speak. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I hugged him really, like when our eyes met, and he goes, Effie, get up here. And I was like, oh my God, you know, and I hugged him and I held on too long. He goes, yeah, you can let go now. And I'm like, no, you're small, you know, because he's not a big man, right? And I was just taking it all in, and then he's like, let me go, you know. But I couldn't talk, you know, after that. So for me, it was kind of the opposite. It took me a little while in his physical presence because he's such a giant. He's such a, you know, to get comfortable.
Yeah,
But
he definitely commands a room when he's in it, you know. Yeah, but then by the time by the end of it, you're like he has this way of making everyone feel like he's their best friend, right? So yeah, those nerves go away.
Yep. And you know, oh, maybe I shouldn't say it because it, I'll say it later. It's so funny when you know the things that are coming and the development, and you're like, I shouldn't give it away. You know, don't want to steal anyone's thunder, that's for sure. But it's incredible how much he keeps bringing to us.
Yeah.
When I saw him at the Dealmaker weekend, and he, you know, what he delivered on the Q&A. Well, he spent like about 40, maybe even 40, 50 minutes on stage talking and on the floor because he got, you know, like came down on the ground, talking about it in huge detail. And I was just jaws, you know, smacked. I was like, how can you keep coming up with such revolutionary ideas and keep bringing so much value? You know, just when you think, okay, I know what I'm doing. Nope. You know, Armand comes along and pshoo.
He's a machine. It's crazy. I think he might be a robot. Like when we were in Boise, you know, he had filmed the day that we got there. He had spent 14 hours filming stuff. And then we met for dinner, and he just like has no end to his energy. Like he's just always, you ask him like, aren't you tired? Like, no, I love this. This is what I do. It's just, it makes me want to go harder too. You know, like when I do get tired, I'm like, I know, I just need to keep pushing.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I do. I kind of get that to some degree. And as long as the energy is around you is positive, that will carry you through.
Yeah.
You know, after the Dealmaker, and they had all those flights canceled everywhere, and we had to drive, Julie, we had to drive 14 hours through storms and this and that. It was like, thank God I had Julie, but it wasn't quite the same. You know, like it was really hard to get, keep the energy up to do the drive.
Right, sure.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit, you know, crazy. Julie Burkhardt said, and he's still going at 2 a.m. That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Yeah. Both Julies are on. That's pretty cool. Well, any last words? We are about to say goodbye to our guests, but please don't leave, Jake. You know, stay in the studio for a moment. Yes, it was nuts, Julie Voss. And you know what? Julie Voss had it way worse than me. Sometimes that's the trick, guys, to always remember that somebody has it worse. Okay, my flights were canceled, you know, after delay. Took my bag. I had to go get back my bag. But Julie was made to sit on the runway for 5 hours before they emptied the frickin' plane. And they took her carry-on bag. That's a freaking oxymoron that they took it. And she couldn't get it back. So she only had the clothes that she was wearing and her purse. And, you know, she was unhappy about being a little stinky. And her bag, I mean, she finally got her bag when she was in Denver. She had it way worse. So it helped me to keep things in perspective. You know, there's always somebody that has things worse. So I'm amazed with Pace because, you know, for that Dealmaker weekend, they canceled his flights and he flew instead to Philadelphia. I think it was Philadelphia. And then one of the students drove him from Philadelphia down to Newark. Okay. Craziness.
Wow.
And he was so happy. You know, he was like, made it. You're a couple hours late, but still.
Right.
It's fun.
He's something else.
Yeah. Any last words for our audience other than, I want to say personally, thank you guys. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed.
Thank you guys. Oh, I told you I was going to get you to 1,000 by today. Are we there yet? How many subscribers do you have on YouTube now?
I have to go and look. I've been busy with you, man.
No, I just want to thank you.
I'm at 840, which is not bad.
Not bad. We'll get you.
I'm happy. I want to get to 1,000, and I want to get to, more than that and all that, but I'm very happy with 840.
Yeah, that's amazing. I just want to thank everyone for coming, and Effie, thank you so much for having me. I feel like I'm like so out of everyone else who's been on the podcast is still way out of my league, and I just feel like the little guy. But I really appreciate you having me on.
You're the same cloth, man, and you're a runner. I mean, just Eddie Charger, if you're listening, you're not as fast as Jake.
Well, hopefully me and Eddie are running in the same direction,
Yeah. I'm teasing because he was on the second episode, I think he was on. Yeah.
Am I allowed to say what I'm looking for? Am I allowed to?
Yes, absolutely. And you can even drop it in here too. I don't know if you can drop it, or if Graham, can he drop it in the banners? He says yes. I don't know how.
I can just say it's pretty simple. Like I said, I have big goals on the amount of properties I'm trying to.
Oh, and you didn't tell us your goals. I know we're a few minutes over, but I'm going to do the pace thing. If you want to run.
Yeah, my goals are.
Talk. What are your goals, and what is your buy box?
My goals are to start doing a lot more on the sub 2 side. So I want to start buying a lot more creative deals, getting them under contract myself, helping people close their deals. I've gotten really good at closing somehow. And, in order to take them all down myself, I need private money lenders, right? So I want 50 pad splits by the end of the year. I want as many properties as I could possibly buy. I've had 15 phone calls with private money lenders today. So
wow.
I don't stop. I'm telling you, I feel like this is when I do something, I do it. Right. So
I see that.
I'm trying to just make more friends. Like I said, always trying to make friends, raise more capital, do more deals, help more people close their deals. I really want to help as many people get their first deal as I possibly can. That's really my biggest goal. And then, and that's really it. Just keep growing from here. I want that trajectory to keep going as straight up as it has been.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
You got it. All right, guys, you heard it. He wants 50 pad splits. He wants lenders. He wants buying, everything that we all want, but he's going to get it before us. I think I'm going to grab onto his tailcoats and hang on.
Do it. Let's go. I'm trying to bring everybody with me. Let's go.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, we'll see you next week when we have Jeff Smith on. And thank you very much, Jake. Don't log off.
Thank you,
everyone.